Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving deep into a tool that is an absolute lifesaver for any system administrator, the Resultant Set of Policy, or RSoP. If you have ever been in that spot where you're pulling your hair out over a group policy that just refuses to apply, well, this is for you. We are going to turn you into a GPO detective, ready to solve those exact mysteries that can bring an entire IT department to a standstill. Let's jump in.
Oh yeah, we've all been there. It's the end of the day, a critical security policy has to go out, and for some reason, it's just not working on that one machine, or for that one user. And you can just feel that familiar sense of dread starting to creep in.
You've gone through your entire mental checklist, the GPO is linked up, the security filtering looks right, everything seems absolutely perfect, but reality is telling you a very different story. You can waste hours, sometimes even days, hunting for that one tiny, buried setting that's causing the whole problem. It's got to be one of the biggest headaches in Windows infrastructure management.
But what if you had a tool that could just slice through all that complexity and tell you what's really happening on that machine? Well, that's RSoP. Honestly, you should think of it less like a utility and more like your own personal diagnostic superpower for any GPO investigation.
RSoP is basically the final answer. You've got this environment with maybe dozens of policies hitting a machine from all different levels. Local, site, domain, multiple OUs. It's a mess. RSoP is the thing that calculates the single effective policy that a computer or user is actually getting. It shows you which setting won the fight, and even more importantly, why it won.
So, RSoP has two really distinct modes. You've got planning mode, which is kind of like your crystal ball. It lets you simulate what would happen if you rolled out a new policy, which is just perfect for testing before you actually deploy anything. And then you have logging mode. That's for investigating the live crime scene. It shows you exactly what did happen on a machine, making it your absolute go-to for troubleshooting real-time issues.
Now, to be a good detective, you have to know the rules. And group policy has a very strict order of operations. The easy way to remember it is LSDOU, local, site, domain, and finally, organizational unit. Policies get applied in that exact order. And here's the key takeaway. The last policy that gets applied is the one that wins, unless, of course, a special setting like enforce is used, which just overrides everything. So, how do you get access to this superpower? Well, you've actually got a few different tools in your toolkit, and each one is suited for a slightly different situation. If you want a nice, clean visual report, the Group Policy Management Console, GPMC, is fantastic. If you're more of a command line person and you want speed, gpresult is your best friend. It can spit out a beautiful HTML report in seconds. For the really heavy lifting, like automation and deep analysis across your whole network, PowerShell is the undisputed champ. And hey, for a quick and dirty check on the machine you're sitting at right now, you can just run RSoP.msc.
All right, enough theory. The best way to learn this stuff is by getting our hands dirty. So let's open up the case files and walk through 3 real-world scenarios that I guarantee you will run into. Okay, here's our first mystery. You create a super important security GPO. Its job is to disable USB ports for all workstations in the finance department. You link it to the finance OU, but one machine, Finance Desktop 01, still has full USB access. What in the world is going on? Our investigation starts now. Step 1, and this is totally non-negotiable. Run an RSoP report against that problem machine. Step 2, you're going to look for your policy specifically in the Denied Group Policy Objects section. If it's in there, RSoP will tell you exactly why it got denied. From there, we can start interrogating our list of usual suspects. And these are almost always the culprits. Could block inheritance be checked on the OU? This happens all the time. It's like using a sledgehammer to solve a tiny problem, but you end up blocking everything. Or maybe it's a WMI filter that was designed to target, say, only specific operating systems, and it's accidentally filtering out our machine. But the most common one of all? The computer account itself just doesn't have the right permissions to even read and apply the GPO. RSoP helps you answer these questions in an instant. On to case number 2. You've got an OU that has 3 different GPOs linked to it, and all of them have conflicting password policy settings. So now users are confused, help desk tickets are flooding in, and nobody is sure what the actual password rules are. We need to find the one true policy.
So, to crack this case, we run RSoP for one of the affected users, and we navigate right to the password policy settings in the report. It's going to show a list of every single GPO that tried to apply a setting. Now, remember that rule of precedence? The very last GPO in that list should be the winner. But there's a trump card. If any GPO has the enforced flag set, it wins. Period. It doesn't matter where it is in the line.
So what this means is you need to check for two things. First, did someone accidentally set the enforce flag on a broader, less specific policy higher up in the domain, causing it to stomp all over your more specific one? Or second, is the link order at the OU just wrong? Remember, in the GPMC, the GPO with link order 1 is processed last, which means it actually has the highest priority. Just reordering those links can often solve the entire mystery.
And our final case, you've got a standard Windows Update GPO, and it works perfectly on your sales OU. So you link the exact same GPO to the engineering OU, but for some reason, none of the machines in engineering are getting the policy. The OUs look identical, but they sure aren't acting that way. The strategy here is pretty simple. It's comparison. Generate an RSoP report from a machine in sales that's working and one from a machine in engineering that isn't. Then you put those reports side by side and you look at the applied GPO section. I promise you, the difference will just jump right off the page. The Windows Update GPO will be right there in one report and completely missing from the other.
And the reason it's missing almost always comes down to one of these two suspects. First, you've got to check if block inheritance is enabled on the engineering OU itself. This is like a giant off switch that just stops policies from flowing down from the domain. Second, and just as likely, double-check your security filtering. Are the computer accounts from the engineering OU actually members of the security group that the GPO is targeted at?
By solving these cases, you are already way ahead of the game. But a true master detective knows how to avoid problems from ever happening in the first place. So let's cover a few key practices that separate the rookies from the pros. Oh man, this one gets everybody at some point. You find the problem, you fix the GPO, you go back to the machine, and it's still not working. Why? Because policy changes are not instant. You have to tell the machine to check in again. Always run GP update force on the target computer so you can see the results of your fix immediately. And remember this, a GPO has permissions, just like a file. The target user or computer account needs both read and apply group policy permissions. If they're missing either one of those, the policy just gets silently ignored. RSoP will report this as a denial because of security filtering, which is your big clue to go check the delegation tab on the GPO itself.
And finally, here's the code of the master detective. 1. Plan ahead. Use RSoP's planning mode to simulate your changes before they ever touch a production system. 2. Document everything. Name your GPOs clearly, describe what they're for. It will save you hours of headaches later. And 3. Be precise. Always generate your report from the actual machine that's having the problem, not just one that seems similar.
And there you have it. You've cracked the case. You see, RSoP isn't just a tool. It's a whole methodology. It's your key to looking past all the complexity, finding the objective truth, and just solving group policy issues with confidence and with speed.
You are now equipped to go out there and tackle pretty much any GPO problem that comes your way. But I want to know, what's the one GPO mystery that's had you completely stumped? Drop your toughest challenge in the comments below. Let's see if we can solve it together as a community. Thanks for watching.